Chester Zoo is one of Britain's biggest zoos. 500 staff care for 7,000 animals. Today, the elephants enjoy an early morning shower.
All children must have clean ears, elephants especially.
Lunchtime with the lemurs.
The ringtails are known for their cheekiness.
And it's all-out war amongst the rhinos.
Come on, girl!
Right, separate.
Hey! Wait, hey! Quick turn!
It's early morning at Chester Zoo. Before the gates open to the public, the rhino keepers are on their way to perform a difficult and potentially dangerous task. They're going to introduce female black rhino Rosie to Quinto, the male, in the hope that they'll like each other and eventually breed. Head keeper Chaz Mackenzie has worked at the zoo for 36 years. He's played matchmaker to rhinos many times before, and he's fully aware of the risks.
We're going to be mixing Rosie and Quinto together. What we do, we open doors on the outside, hopefully both go outside. We'll shut the door, then open this door, and then we'll give them access to all the paddocks. So if she's going into season, we'll try and mix the male and the female together to hope we can get some mating.
Chaz and senior keeper Shane Blake have no idea how Rosie will respond to Quinto's advances.
To me, Rosie here is a Jekyll and Hyde. She can be the sweetest rhino ever, as you can see with Shane, and she can be the most dangerous rhino out. Quinto is quite laid back. He's a nice chap, he is, yeah. Open door.
Come on, baby. Good girl. I do admit I have a soft spot for Rosie the rhino. She's been hand-reared at London Zoo, and she's quite a nice, lovely rhino to get to know. She has her own personality.
Rhinos are notoriously unpredictable. If things turn nasty, this first meeting could be their last. It's a tense atmosphere as they exchange glances.
It could be all quiet and they get on hunky-dory, which would be brilliant. And then the other thing is that they could have a little bit of a tiff.
Hey, grumpy mare.
But then it could escalate into a full-blown battle. Then we'll probably have to separate then.
The keepers carry fire extinguishers to set off in case of trouble.
It's a scare tactic, you know, like the noise and the powder act as, you know, like a distraction. Therefore, we're able to separate them usually.
She's not going for him, which is a good sign.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
You see where he was peeing back like that, he's just marking the territory now. They're getting close to each other now.
Against all expectations, it's the female Rosie who wins the first round and sends Quinto packing.
Not fussed, is he?
He's not batting an eyelid, is he? He's not been full out and out aggression yet, so it's actually, it's not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, usually we put males and females together. They'll fight for ages until we have to separate them. And this one here, she's done a standstill with him and he's not bothered. She's just standing there and usually they just chase each other for ages.
The male can kill the female, which has been known even out in the wild that it's happened that way. So yeah, it could escalate into a fatality.
It's still a dangerous situation. Chaz and Shane may be forced to intervene if the fighting gets any worse. Next door, it's all quiet as head keeper Mick Jones gives the elephants a wake-up call.
Yep, ready to go.
Mick is another veteran with more than 30 years' service at Chester. He's responsible for 10 Asian elephants, ranging in age from baby Rahman at 9 months to Sheba, who's over 50 years old and the matriarch of the herd.
What we're going to do this morning, we're sending the elephants through in separate groups so we can instigate a morning routine.
Mick and his team of keepers make sure the elephants scrub up well before they meet their public.
This is a scrub routine, so we can go around and see every part of their body, going round the eyes, the ears. We check the feet, so we can access their feet for corrective foot care.
It's this daily hands-on contact that cements the bond between animal and keeper.
We always communicate with them clearly, even if it's just whispering sweet nothings. We raise the tone if we need a response. Generally, it's all in low tones and nice and quiet and nice and gentle. This is Rahman. He was born November 12th last year, so he's 9 months old. He's growing nicely. This is Sheba. She's our oldest elephant. Probably the elephant I've known the longest. 30-something years, 35 years I've known her. Met her 1969, I met her when she was 17. Well, once we've scrubbed them, we give them an all-over wash. They love being washed, they love being clean. The little boy gets a wash. Initially, like all children, they don't like it, but they get used to it. All children must have clean ears. Elephants especially. That's pretty much our morning hands-on routine.
Once the elephants are clean, they go outside and immediately head for the mud to undo all the keeper's good work.
The first thing that elephants will do when they go out is roll in the sand and sometimes dirty, horrible mud. Our paddock hasn't had much of a chance to dry out this summer, like most parts of Britain, so they get quite muddy. Real busy morning routine. Old men shouldn't be doing this.
In the big cat enclosure, head keeper Alan Woodward is preparing lunch for Chester's lions. A Soccer, the male, and his mate, Asher.
First of all, we put some cod liver oil on. That's good for their coats, gives them a nice shiny coat. Now we put the vitamins on. The vitamins are really important because in the wild, when they make a kill, they have the whole contents of the animal. I mean, all the gut contents and everything else. But because we're just feeding part of the animal, it's important that they have the extra vitamins and minerals. And this is given to them every day. Sounds a bit like a cookery programme, doesn't it?
Alan must get the recipe right because Asher, the lioness, is pregnant and eating for 2. Or possibly more. As midday approaches, the crowds gather to watch the feeding of the lions. It's one of the zoo's biggest daily attractions.
We'll be fed in the next couple of minutes. Here we are.
It's still interesting every time we feed them because the behaviour is different just about every day. I mean, sometimes even Asher will risk coming up for the joint first with a Soccer. I mean, he's not very pleased about it, but it's like a bit of a game between them, really. Soccer's always the first one to come up because he's the dominant, and Asher's just come up now, so she's the second to be fed. So she should take her food as far away as from a Soccer as possible.
A Soccer and Asher may look like other lions, but they're Asiatic lions from India.
Asiatic lions are quite different from African lions because in the wild they're more of a solitary species and they are slightly smaller in stature. A Soccer, he was born at Chester Zoo nearly 9 years ago. He'd be 9 in October. The lioness, that's Asia. She was born in Peyton Zoo. She went from Peyton to Rome, and she came to Chester last year. Last June, in fact, and she had to do 6 months quarantine, and during that time we introduced her to a soccer. It was quite nerve-wracking because we didn't know how they were going to react towards each other, but fortunately they get on very well.
So well that Asha became pregnant. Soon she'll leave a soccer to give birth alone. The arrival of her offspring will be a small but significant step towards ensuring the survival of her species. It was meant to be a love match, but the first meeting at Chester Zoo between female black rhino Rosie and Quinto, the male, is going from bad to worse. Head keeper Chas Mackenzie and his team are keeping a close eye on things in case the fighting gets out of hand. The rhinos could kill each other.
We're coming back here.
Each clash of horns brings together 2 tons of armour-plated muscle.
What we've seen a lot with the males fighting with females is the male tends to get his horn underneath her back leg, lift her up and drop her over, and then when she's on the side, he tends to go in to the belly. So we always try and stop it before it gets that far. Come on, girl, move.
It's the male Quinto who's the aggressor.
We've seen this thing before. First few times it's quite scary because you're not quite sure what to do because you can't obviously go in there and separate them. It's coming back for more. Come on, girl, move.
You got his hand.
Right, separate.
Hey! Hey! Quinto! Quinto!
She's knackered. Right, get on the doors. She's knackered.
Yeah. Come on, Rose. Come on, girl. Good girl. Come on.
Come on, sweetie.
After a 20-minute chase, Chaz and Shane realise that Rosie is exhausted.
Wait.
They must get her out of harm's way, fast.
Wait. Wait, no. Shut that door. Shut.
Panic over. The keepers finally managed to separate them.
You couldn't leave that to go much longer than what he'd done because she gets injured really badly, so they both live to fight another day again, as they say. She's suffered a few abrasions and little cuts and scrapes. They're not that bad. Rhino skin's about that thick. I know the top layer is the same as ours, you know, you cut it and it bleeds there, but to do some serious damage, it has to go in quite a long way. It's not like a lovey-dovey courtship, it's actually quite aggressive, and yeah, there is a bit of fighting before it all settles down. He's trying to be dominant, you know, like, again, he wants to have his wicked way away with her. She is not ready for that, so yeah, big fight ensues. You can't say, oh, well, I'm too frightened to do this, because then it just all falls apart and we have no babies. Hello, Rosie. You all right? As you can see, she's still just a little bit uptight. She's stood up now to threaten us. Again, she was probably thinking it could have been the other rhino coming in again, so it'll take them a few days to get over it.
Lovers' tiffs, like Rosie and Quinto's, are a small price to pay if in the end they make babies and so help to save their dying breed.
It's been a long day today.
The head keeper of primates, Andy Lenehan, is gearing up for one of the most enjoyable parts of his job, a trip across water to feed 29 hungry mouths. the zoo's Madagascan ring-tailed lemurs.
They live on an island all year round, and we feed them twice a day, once in the morning with a mixture of sultanas and primate diet, and then once in the afternoon with fruit.
Over the years, nearly 300 lemurs have been born at Chester. They're one of the zoo's big success stories.
The ringtails are known for their curiosity and cheekiness. On the whole, they have the run of this island 365 days of the year. The island's approximately about 120 metres long by about 40, 50 metres wide, and it's got a lot of mature trees on it. There's 29 lemurs in the main group altogether. There's 21 males and 8 females. All the lemurs come from Madagascar, and ringtail lemurs in particular live in very large social groups. They use their tails in the long grass for signalling to each other. And also in the breeding season, the males, I don't know whether you can see, and the males have a spur on their wrist. It's a bit of bone that sticks out of the wrist that's connected to a scent gland, and they click it either together or on something hard like a stone that produces scent, and then they pull their tails between their legs, rub it on their tails, and then waft their tails at each other, and they call it stink fighting. And it's just a way of saying, you know, I'm the boss, I'm the one that's going to breed with the females.
Breeding and feeding is what the lemurs do best.
Go and spread this food out so they can all get some. It's just a way of getting the food off the ground so that the ducks and other birds and rodents that might be on the island don't eat the food. And also it spreads the lemurs out so I can count them and have a good look at them and check to see if they're all right. We catch them a few times a year and we put the collars on them so we can visually identify them. But the collars are made to snap if they get hooked up rather than strangle the animal. So most of them were collared, but they snapped. But all of them have got microchips inside them so that we can tell when we want to catch one if it's ill or when it needs to go to another zoo. It's not very strong sun today, but they love the sun. Actually, if it's really, really sunny, you'll come over and they won't bother with the food much. They'd rather sunbathe, and they just put their arms out and they sunbathe all along the grass.
In minutes, all the food is gone. And so are the lemurs.
Once they've got full bellies, they've had enough of us and they're gone. And as you can see, no lemurs. They're on the island somewhere, they're in the trees, they're on the inside enclosures, they're mooching about the floor. But once they've had enough of the food and enough of our company, they're off.
It's almost closing time at Chester Zoo, and 10,000 visitors head for home.
Had a good time? Yeah. And you, young lady? There you go, sir.
In the lion's enclosure, Asha and Asoka are enjoying their final moments together before being parted. Asha is 3.5 months pregnant, and the time has come for her to do what she would do in the wild. Leave her mate and find a secluded place to give birth alone.
Asha, she is actually 9 years old now, so she's just slightly older than Asoka. Asoka's waited a long time for an unrelated female, but because they're so endangered, there's only about just over 200 left in the wild now in the Gir forest. Even the gene pool in captivity is a very, very close gene pool as well. So that's why it's so important to breed these animals in zoos.
This is the width of the door.
We're making this den more secure for Asha to come in. Asha will have the far two dens, and we've prepared a bed in here for Asoka. So by putting this curtain up, it makes it nice and secluded for Asha, and hopefully she'll settle down in there until she has the cubs.
Head keeper Alan Woodward plans to provide Asha with a quiet area well away from the public gaze. Everybody could be in for a long wait before the cubs arrive.
This is the actual bed that Asha will be coming into. She'll have the choice of two dens, the larger den and the smaller den in there.
Alan is concerned for Asha because the last time she gave birth, the cubs died.
Her last litter were born in February, but because they were 2 weeks premature, unfortunately they didn't survive. So this time we're going to bring her in 2 weeks before she's due to settle her in, and hopefully everything will go okay. In a way, I think I feel a bit like an expectant father as well, because you're always on tenterhooks. There's always the worry, and it's a big relief when everything's going fine and she has them and they're all born perfect and she's rearing them. So it is a bit nerve-wracking at first.
Asha, come on, Poppy. Good girl. Come on. Asha.
In the darkness of the den, night vision cameras will watch over Asha to make sure she feels safe and secure until the big day arrives. This time, Alan and everybody else at Chester is hoping that the outcome will be a happy one. Next time, a young giraffe fights a mystery illness. The vets get to grips with a giant snake. And a new arrival takes a bow.
That's it.
Didn't like it.
Doesn't like the outside world.